In this video, I want to talk about the importance of a real and very structured spiritual practice. Most people say that you need a teacher. The reason they say that is because traditionally they give a very solid structure, a solid foundation, if they are solid and disciplined, correct teachers. I'm not gonna tell you to go and find your teachers, because nowadays people, they can just find a person that they hear about, that they read about, and then just search their stuff, like their books, their workshops, their whatever they're into. But there is a big but in this. A reason that you should not go without a solid foundation, a solid practice. Even if you find someone that you have an affinity and read their books, do the practices, some things will happen, okay? But those things, if they are not in the context, down the road there might be issues. First of all, before I go into the issues that will come up, I'm going to tell you the reason why you need a solid spiritual practice, a structured one from A to Z, and not just bits and pieces from traditions. You can do that if you have structure, foundation, and you paid your dues, and you have experience, you have a lot of practice and things that you already know. But if you're starting out and you think that you can go and collect random things because you don't want to have A to Z theory, like not theory, A to Z lore, for not even that word is correct, but you need to have a foundation structure. That is my point, from A to Z, that explains things, why a particular thing or an experience is there or it's not. Otherwise, issues will come up. I will come back to the issues. First, I want to say the reasons you need that. First of all, people lie. Okay, I know it might be a shock for some people, but people lie. Some lie intentionally. More people, I believe, they lie to themselves. They believe lies. They are comfortable. They give them some sense of explanation about things. And they go on teaching some part of the truth, which is great, which is good. But they also spread lies, not out of mal intention, but because, first of all, they believe them themselves. So people lie. That's the first part. People lie also with negative intention, like with mal intention. They lie to you to get your energy or something. This thing does exist. So if you go along and just take a piece from here and there randomly, plug and play, you plug a lot of things, you don't know if that person that gives you the thing is an honest person. You don't know, even if they're honest, you don't know if what they found works for you. It might work for them. If it's not scientifically backed up and without personal and collective group experience, it's And I'm not going, because I know most of you hear the word scientific and you think that I don't like making science a dogma. I'm not saying that, but if it doesn't have like any logic, only like, oh, I was had that experience and then therefore that I used to do this and that, don't do that. Don't go there, because it might be unique, like whatever the person got was for them and for their close or people that a certain type of people. It's not a global thing to say that is like one and only global truth. It might be a part of the truth. I'm not saying it's completely incorrect, but if you take a piece and you make it like a whole, which a lot of teachers trying to do, like they have a piece and they say they think they got the whole thing, then you're gonna have issues down the road. Ignorance is bliss until life gets to you. So that's the first very obvious reason. The second reason is deception, and I'm not talking now only about in terms of teaching. You are trying one way or another to have some type of experience beyond the five senses. There is a lot of information that you don't know if it's accurate. How are you going to know? How are you going to decipher? Besides intuition, like even in that there is things that need. But anyway, how, if you don't have a structure, I mean, you're gonna know the data that are being transmitted that or received or whatever beyond the five senses is for you. Is it good? Is it good long term? Is it good now or is an illusion and it takes you something or it gives you something? Because even, I'm not saying deception is bad only because you're gonna get hurt or anything. You don't know your own. How are you going to know the good that you get? Some people get so much good and they don't even know it because they don't have a structure. If you have a structure, you can measure progress. You can not just progress. I mean, you're gonna prevent losses, but not only in terms of negative losses. You're going to prevent losses of positive stuff. Like there are positive things that you don't acknowledge because you're in some kind of delusion. I can mention some delusions. One delusion is the fucking flow. It does exist, yes, but if you do not have done your best, I mean, in terms of practice and discipline, I mean, in terms of discipline, of structured, like the bare minimum is doing your best, and then flow unlocks. Usually, not usually, most, I will say like 90%, 80% of the time, then you're gonna get to the trip that things happened because of, like, where is the giving in waiting to achieve things out of being in that state, being in that in being that way. Think about it. If you believe that you only need one type of state to achieve things, then you neglect a lot of other things that are very much needed there. For example, you might achieving like these states by yourself because you find something online or practice whatever. Maybe it's also intuitive, maybe you whatever, You for some reason you got it. You got this part, and you attract a lot of things, but you don't know what to do with them because you never had the structure, discipline about thinking and other energetic parameters. What if you attract things and the energy then doesn't match? What if, like, there are so many things that can happen because you believe some part and not having a structure. This part would be great if it was in a whole. As a rest, as a sharing, it's great. But as the end of it all, it down the road, it really isn't. Lastly, the final reason why you need a structure is you're gonna, like, if, for example, I already described one thing that can go very off. What if you get enlightened, achieving the realization, and then to digest the experience, to process the experience takes you like years. What if you don't have the structure to bring yourself back to personal experience? Isn't that like really an issue? How, like, the issues that you will hang on later is that you will not know what is true and what is not, because everything is one and all is bliss. But if it's not in a structure, then what's that? A spiritual ego will come out of it. That's what is that. That is gonna be one of the very big main issue. Thinking that somehow, whatever, I'm not going, you know what is, search spiritual ego if you don't know. Thinking that there is you and you, and like, it's such a difficult thing, and structure would prevent that. If you have a map, even if it's in theory, for what happened down the road, if you have a practice for each phase, each step of the way, then if something like that happens, you have somewhere to draw and co-center yourself again, to recenter, to co-center yourself in the basics. If you don't have basics and you think everything is relevant, I have news for you. Things are not relevant. Some things are very, very objective. So the point I'm making is that a structured practice, a map, and a series of disciplines will help you process a lot of things, either being out of lies, either out of deceptions, because you're not alone in this journey, or for yourself to be safe. Thank you.